Alrighty there, everybody. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hi, how's it going? Good to have you all here. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our screen here. Go. Give me just a moment. I'll have that up. There we are.
Hey,
Hi
it's me.
there. Hey, how's it going?
I'm super happy to be alive, super happy to be here with you. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be here, truly. Thank you. Thank you for having a platform and allowing me to speak. I appreciate it.
Of course, yeah, it's my pleasure. Well, so I do want to let you know that you're the first cis guest that I'm going to have on my show. So it truly is something special to have you here. Thank you for coming on.
I'm very happy to be here. Very, very happy to be here.
So if you don't mind, let's go ahead and just maybe start with a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, what your background looks like.
Sure. Originally born and raised in Southern California, in like the Palm Springs Inland Empire area. And a little bit about me. I love the mind. I love reading. I love journaling, meditating. Love working out. I love kind of just like the progressive realization of life and seeing how time moves along and how you can become better with a little bit of focus and dedication to a goal. And yeah, I went to college in the Orange County area, and then I live in Mexico now. I live about 45 minutes south of Cancun on the east coast of Mexico, and I love living out here.
Nice. What's your favorite thing about living where you are now?
There's so many good things about living where I'm at. The weather is always awesome. The people are very happy and smiley, just because the weather's always great. The prices for food are really, really, really affordable. Um, the community out here is very accepting towards any and all race, creed, color, shape, form, and I live maybe like a 10-minute walk from the beach with a very affordable means of living. So it's something it's hard to beat when in comparison to when I used to live in the States.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is something hard to beat. Housing prices lately have been insane. We're looking for a new place now, and it's mind blowing. So, yeah, it's great. I'm glad to hear that you're in a place where that's not so much an issue for you. So very good.
Yeah,
Um,
tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm sorry.
oh,
Uh, yeah, I
sure.
would love to hear about you.
Well, my name's Erin. I run this little show called Trans in the Am. I like to talk to trans people, talk about trans issues and stuff like that, give opinions and stuff like that. I also do a lot of work with my friend Ashley. We're working on a project called the TRCP, the Trans Resource Curation Project. Our goal here is to basically collect a big stockpile of resources so that trans people who have questions about certain parts of their transition, whether it be, makeup or fashion or HRT itself, can just go to this one place and find the info they need. So that's what we're working on, is compiling that information all in one place. And it's a very big project. So we're hoping to have it done maybe by the end of the year, but we'll see.
That's huge. Congratulations. Thank you. I'll definitely be looking out for the TRCP. Since I've been living in Mexico, I kind of there's a space of separation between me and what happens in the United States. So it was recently just brought to my attention that there's a lot of things going on in the trans community. So a resource like that for me to go ahead and get stockpiled information and then be able to share it would be absolutely huge. So keep on going on. Appreciate what you
Yeah,
do.
absolutely. Well, another good friend of ours, Chloe, I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but her and another friend, Sean, have been working on the DIY HRT guide. If you go
Okay.
to diyhrt.github.io, I think it is, there's a very extensive and comprehensive guide on how to do it yourself if that is the option that you have. If you can't get it through prescription or through other means or whatever, and you have to resort to DIY, this guide will give you the information that you need to do that safely.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Safety is key.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're doing a lot of work for the community, and it's really great. And having people like you here to support us as well is just phenomenal, especially in this time where, it seems like legislation just keeps coming out left and right against us, and hate raids are happening on Twitch and stuff like that. So yeah, every ally is so important, and that's why I wanted to talk to you so much, was because the impact that you've had is just astounding. You blew up seemingly overnight, and I think I remember clicking on your profile when you had like 600 to 800 followers, and I followed you, and then like I came back later that day, and you were at like 12,000 followers, and I was like, what the shit happened? Oh my god!
Funny story. Before this all happened, before the TikTok blew up and then got on Twitter, I had 200 followers about 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe sitting at just under 17,000, and like it's it's very beautiful because you can. I've had a TikTok go up to about 20,000 before, a financial TikTok, but it's very wishy-washy. The audience isn't really there connected with you, but on Twitter it's like these are real people,
Mm-hmm.
really engaged, really wanting to listen to what you have to say, debate what you have to say, agree with what you have to say. So it's a blessing. It's something that I take not lightly whatsoever. I appreciate everybody that has reached out to me, followed me, said that I have given a good influence to them. And if you're watching this right now, I want to say thank you to you, Aaron, and to thank you to the trans community for being so accepting and loving of me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've met some of the most kind people that I've ever met in my entire life in the trans community. Um, People here really care about each other. And kind of to your point, what you were talking about on Twitter versus TikTok, I think with Twitter specifically, this is a place for you to build community. I've, over the last, not even a year yet, have just met so many amazing people and have built so many friendships. I have two people coming from different states to live with me to start like a
Wow.
little tiny commune or whatever, because I met them through this community, right? Through this Twitter community, where we were all just kind of hanging out with each other because we shared a common trait, and that we're all trans, and that we all share this experience with each other, and that kind of brings us all together, especially when it's so hard for us to find support from the outside. So it is important for us to have that community, I think, and I thank you for being part of it.
I'm a huge believer in community. I'm a huge believer in the transfer of energy, and you are who you hang out with. So to be surrounded by a loving, supportive cast of characters, if you would, inside your home, inside of your commune, is very powerful. I noticed that whenever I lack community, I do some self-destructive behaviors, and when I have community, it's I'm so much more at peace and calm inside my soul. So I'm very happy that you're finding that, and I'm very happy that people are finding you to have that with.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to go back and see like all the people that I've interviewed and stuff, and think, oh, I've formed connections with all these people, and I can like actually see that in front of me. It's hard to really see your friendships for them being as powerful or as long lasting as they are, if you can't see them in a physical form, right? If you can't see it with your eyes. If you have there something to remind you, like I'm not sure if you're familiar with Snapchat. I'm sure you are, but you can do like streaks with your friends and stuff and see like how long you've been, doing the streak. And so it's a fun little thing to try to keep up your streak and try to keep interacting with your friends. And having that reminder of, you've known this person for this long and you've been friends for, so many years and stuff like that. That really is super important. Because it really helps you solidify the relationships you have with other people in your mind. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. So, yeah, I think that's important.
Absolutely. I've dealt with depression and suicidal thoughts in my life, and even when I knew I had community behind me, sometimes it was very hard to recognize that. So, any sort of reminder that we have that we're not alone in this, world that we live in, and the more deep that I get into my own mind, and like the more that I do with my own self development and personal development, the more that I realize that we as human beings, as a general whole, really don't know what the, I don't want to curse on your stream, but we really don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, so it's very powerful to have that. And anybody watching this, I encourage you to reach out to your friends today and let them know that you love them. And I want to make a shout out to my boy Slicer. Um, See him right down there, but his event was the first event that I ever commentated for Smash Brothers. I was very nervous about commentating, and it turned out to be a huge passion of mine. I went on to commentate top 8 at one of the San Diego regionals, and shout out to you, Slicer, part of my community. I appreciate you.
Nice. Well, yeah, thank you, Slicer. That's awesome. Um, let's talk about Smash Brothers for a minute, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah.
How long have you been into the game? How long have you played, and how long has it been an interest for you?
I probably started, I can't remember the age exactly, probably like 8, 9, something like that, playing 64. I had a foreign exchange student come live with me from Austria.
Mhm.
He spent his senior year of high school in our home, and we used to play that all the time together. And then at my babysitter's house, before and after school, we started playing Melee together, and I was a Sheik main there. And kind of fell out around Brawl and Smash 4, but when Ultimate came out, it was in a very weird place in my life, and I used Smash Ultimate and all the majors, watching all the Twitch streams as like really an escape for myself to get away from the thoughts that I was having and the depressive feelings that I was feeling. So Smash Ultimate has been it's been monumental in my life, and now to be able to commentate events and
Mhm.
to go and see the Smash community and see all these young kids coming up. I love the Smash community. I think it's a very inclusive space. Um, Sometimes trash talk goes left or right, but it's with any sport. It's with any sport. But I love Smash Brothers. I love the community, and I love everything that has come to be about. Because there's no support from Nintendo when it comes to Smash Ultimate whatsoever. It's all grassroots. It's all bootstrapped from the ground up. So yeah, shout out to, if you play Smash Brothers, if you're part of the community, shout out to you. Really really love and appreciate you.
For
Zoom,
real.
tell me about your experience. Are you a Smasher?
Well, I've played Smash all my life. I also started with 64. I was really big into Melee, although I was never good competitively. Um, I played Young Link once at a school tournament and just like absolutely dominated everybody. And then I think that was the last Smash competitive event I ever played. Um, and then I didn't really get that much into Brawl, although I did think that like Pokemon Trainer was really novel. I'm a big Pokemon fan, if you can't tell. Um, but yeah, I thought that was really novel, and I really liked Smash 4. But with Ultimate, I sunk so many hours into Ultimate. Like I learned how to play Cloud, and I did really well. I have a little rivalry with one of my friends who's actually going to be my roommate, Lucy.
Hey.
She's a Lucina, a Marth Lucina main. And yeah, so we go back and forth. I like to play Piranha Plant against her, Lucina. It's so much fun.
Awesome. That's super awesome. Yeah, I'm a Kirby main, so 64 was real good to me, and then ever since then, it's been a struggle. It hurts. And,
Yeah.
I got so just used to playing Kirby on 64, like especially as a young kid. So it's just like
Yeah.
almost in my DNA. It's so hard to give up, but like man, I haven't had a good toolkit with Kirby since since 8 years old, 9 years old. So yeah, no, I love Ultimate. I've sunk a lot of hours in Ultimate too.
That's awesome. There was another I can't remember her name, but there was another Smash commentator recently that was on my radar. Um, she was receiving some harassment from other folks. I think it would be I might try to find her later and see if I can DM you about her. Um, but yeah, like I really feel like you have the charisma to be able to do it pretty well. You enjoyed doing your casting of the games?
Yeah, I loved it a lot. But when I was in California, California when I started doing the commentary. It was only a short time, maybe like 2 months that I was staying there, and then I came back to Mexico. So I don't have enough Spanish to commentate Spanish tournaments out here or Mexican tournaments out here. But I recently just got into this apartment that's got pretty good Wi-Fi, so I might hop back into maybe some Wi-Fi tournaments and start commentating there.
There you go. There you go. And it never hurts to. We actually invested in those USB Ethernet adapters for the Switch.
Oh,
I got a couple of those because I'm a big Pokemon Unite player. And so having like a
nice.
stable internet connection is really important for MOBA, you know. Um, so yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. Playing competitive games has always been something that like it makes me nervous. Like it makes my heart race every time I like go into a competition, but it's so thrilling. There's no other feeling like it, you know, especially if you do well and you can look back on it and feel proud of your performance and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I do. In college, I did jujitsu, like the grappling martial arts, and that
Hmm.
same sort of feeling of like nervousness and like oh snap, I'm about to go against this person head to head. I love that head to head feeling, and then afterwards you shake it out, you say GG's, and you know it's just respect that you were able to share that space with that person and like give me your best, I'll give you my best, and we'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Developing a rivalry is a lot of fun too. I like it. It's really engaging, and I feel like the relationships I have with my rivals is just so great, and it helps me improve myself as a person. So I really like it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like rivalries push the best out of people and it push the worst out of people too. but
Yeah.
but I agree 100%. But speaking of Pokemon, have you replayed any Showdown?
Yes. I
Nice.
played a lot of Showdown. I started on Shoddy Battle actually. Are you familiar with Shoddy Battle?
Very vaguely.
Yeah, it was the client like right before they started doing like everything on Showdown or whatever. Most people used it for like Gen 1 and 2 and stuff like that, but Showdown's great. I used it so much. I played so much competitive in Gen 4 and Gen 5, and even today, I'll like just to de-stress, what I'll do is breed competitive Pokemon. It's just,
Yeah.
that's what I do, you know? I just breed Pokemon. That's all I do.
Love strategic games. So I'm really a fan of chess, and then jujitsu is also like a strategic game. But then Pokemon Showdown is just like and shoulders above the rest. You got to build your. I could talk about hours about competitive showdown. I love like Pokeaim MD,
Mhm.
Blunder, CTC, all these guys. Like I love that little subsection of showdown on the YouTube community. Yeah, I'm a huge showdown fan. Huge showdown fan.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually wanted to do way, way, way back in the day. I wanted to do a show about like teaching people how to play competitive Pokemon and stuff like that. I didn't end up having the time to do it, and um, it didn't end up panning out. But like, it was so much fun teaching my friends how to play and getting them into it, and then seeing them like put their own spin on whatever teams that they had and do their own tech and stuff like that, and then me take that and improve on my own play. That was amazing. I love that shit. That's awesome. I live for
Oh,
that.
that's it. I love some good showdown. I absolutely love some showdown. Man, yeah, I love connecting with new people. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you guys walking around on the Pokemon screen right now. I eventually want to get into streaming myself. I think this is such a cool thing that you do, and it's super cool to connect with your audience. I just have like a whole outpour of thankful emotion for you, Aaron. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, it's my pleasure. I love helping people. I've been streaming for, so many years now at this point. If you ever have any questions or anything or need any help with anything, feel free to reach out. I'm always here for you. Okay.
Aaron, thank you.
Of course. I did want to ask you about a few things. I read your AMA and I pulled a couple questions from that I kind of wanted to expand on a little bit, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's go ahead and start off with this one. Somebody asked, the trans men want to know, will you suck trans man D? And what about the non-binary people who happen to have D or refer to their parts as D. Um, and I think you had a really good answer here. I thought this was really solid. You said that you were a very masculine energy holding person, and you attract a feminine, soft, healing nature regardless of form or shape, and that you're very open minded in your attraction, but don't want to put yourself in situations you don't want to be in. So I really respect that a lot. Do you want to expand on that a little bit for us?
In my journey of my mind, I'll just keep referring back to it with all the books that I've read and the journaling and the meditation that I've done. I You have two poles. You got the masculine energy and you got the feminine energy. To maintain sexual attraction, to maintain that kind of like spark, that zest that keeps the relationship alive,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have that polar opposite type of effect. And in a relationship, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. You could be amazing friends and be very close towards the middle, but to have that sort of sexual spark, the polarity is absolutely everything. So respect to the trans men, respect to the non-binary, but that leads a little bit more towards the middle. When I like to hang on I'm very much on the masculine side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to have that feminine counterbalance to kind of like give me that whole inside feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's important to have some kind of dissent there with your partner. Some kind of, whether it's the type of energy that you hold, or some of your beliefs, or the way that you challenge each other. I think it's important to have some sort of difference there, because it helps you grow as a person. Seeing things from some other perspective, whatever that other perspective might be. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, 100%. Let's see. The next thing, oh, this is a good lead in. Somebody asked, have you always been so open minded? Your video was awesome to see, so I'm truly interested. And you talked a little bit about your home life and the way that you grew up. Do you want to expand on that a little bit for us here?
Absolutely. Well, my mom was a Jamaican immigrant, and Jamaica is a very homophobic in its roots society. So I remember one day I bought a shirt like this from a thrift shop, and she called it gay, and it made me cry. And like that, like she had hit me before, not in an abusive beat me type way, but like as a reprimanding punishment type way.
Mm-hmm.
But that type of pain that I felt when she had said that it was gay, and like made me cry in the car home, like it was like, whoa, where did that come from? From that moment, it kind of opened my eyes. And it being very blessed and fortunate to have different types of communities inside of my home growing up. I had foreign exchange students like a lot of my early life that would come and stay with us inside of our home. I got to see a lot of different ways to do things, a lot of different ways to cook eggs, a lot of different ways to clean a house, a lot of ways to do everything in life. One thing that you're going to learn in traveling is there's multiple ways to live. I think where a lot of the bigotry stems from, especially in the United States, is the lack of travel, the lack of seeing outside different perspectives and how other people live in life, and seeing like, okay, well, that actually works.
Mm-hmm.
My dad went to Thailand a few years ago, and their society is so accepting of trans and any sort of non-binary across the whole spectrum, across the whole board. It's integrated perfectly in the world. So there's a living, breathing, thriving example of something that we could look towards that works. And I think just bringing awareness and removing ignorance is going to be our highest achieving focus, and making sure that people understand that if we're alive and we're sharing this air, we're sharing this environment, we're sharing this space, we need to be cognizant and recognizing of everybody that comes here. It's not my way or the highway. It can't be. It's that is outdated and needs to get thrown out of the window. So
Yeah.
what the question was, but it just that memory of my mom and yelling at me really sparked something inside of me. And I struggled with how I felt, because I remember I found out my attraction to trans women when I was 15 years old, started dating when I was 17, just getting into college. And I was confused on how I felt. I at first wanted to hide it. I didn't want to let anybody know. I didn't want judgment from my friends. I didn't want judgment from my society. Um, I was growing up, I very much prided myself on being the womanizer, or the guy that was able to get girls and talk to girls very easily. So when I started realizing what I was attracted to, who I was attracted to, where I was attracted, and where I was like holding all this affection inside of me, it scared me. It really did scare me. So I think today the biggest takeaway from this is, if there's, if I could share this energy and this awareness with my 17-year-old self, my 15-year-old self, then I'm just paying it forward. Like that's the biggest gift that I can give. Just that awareness and being open with myself. Honesty is everything. If you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with other people. If you're not honest with other people, you're going to live a miserable life at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree. Um, even I think travel is important. I agree with you there. Even when I traveled across the country to live in a different state, just that and experiencing people from a different state on the other side of the country really changed my experience, really changed my perspective on a number of things. People just have a different way of living in different parts of the world, and you really don't realize it until you get out of your hometown. If you like go visit somewhere, it's easy to just like set that experience aside and like box it up in your mind and say, oh, well, that was a unique tour experience of this one unique location or whatever, and it's not individually representative or whatever. And so it's easy to dismiss that and say, well, the experiences I gained here aren't necessarily valid and shouldn't change me. But I think that when you go and you live in a different place, or you spend a really, really extended period of time in a place, and get to live with their culture and see how people live in that other area, I think it really does change your perspective on a lot of things, especially if your mind is open to that. And that's important too. You have to be open to different experiences and stuff like that. So.
I grew up in a small town called Hemet, California, and the other side of Palm Springs in Riverside County. And I dealt with racism a couple of times, but I did very well to be a social chameleon. And like I was very fortunate to have a lighter complexion versus a darker complexion.
Okay.
And but I had to learn how to navigate that world, navigate discrimination, navigate prejudice, and help me really round that out. Like I don't have to be quote unquote happy all the time. I don't have to put on the smile when I really don't want to, and just to feel safe. And what I'm now realizing, especially after the whole TikTok blow up, the whole Twitter blow up, is that there's community kind of. I feel now that I'm sort of at like a precipice, or kind of more in the spotlight. People are aiming their sights at me, and I'm starting to feel like that threat of violence that you guys obviously. Sorry, forgive me for my pronoun usage of guys. That we all feel now, being in part of the community, and I think that's the most important thing that I can dispel, is just for cis folks out there, really understand that a feeling of safety is a basic human need. It's not a want. It's not a desire. It's an absolute, like, hey, I shouldn't feel threatened. I have to move across the United States for a more metropolitan area to feel like I'm comfortable living, where I just have to breathe. I have to eat. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to do these things. I have to. I can't not.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, like this are very powerful in sort of dispelling that, and I'm very happy that I'm the person that I am, because people listen to me regardless of whatever topic or conversation piece that we're talking about, because I have the energy that I have. I garner respect, and this is something that's very important to me to bring awareness to. I think I'm going to keep on bringing up awareness, because that's going to really change the tides of what we're going through as a community here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree 100%. We all have to be aware of the issues that we face together. And if we are not, if we ignore that, if we are willfully ignorant of the challenges that we face together, then yeah, we're not going to get along. We're not going to have a community. It's not going to be good. And we need to open our minds. We need to be a little bit more willing to listen and willing to engage. And I feel that, especially for a lot of cis people, of course, not speaking of yourself, but especially for a lot of cis people, it's easy for them to almost talk over trans people, and do either their own activism or of course, the harassment that we're all so used to receiving. So it's very important to make sure that you are listening to other people and are open to their experiences and stuff. And I find that so many of us are just closed off and have our hearts, almost surrounded by a barrier. And it's important to break that down in certain ways, at least so that you're open to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with trans people? I know that you said you had been with a couple in the past. Is that right?
Sure, been plenty. I've been attracted to trans people since I was 15. I'm 26 now. Started dating when I was 17, so this is almost a decade, coming on a decade of activity. It's funny when I was growing up and getting into college, I didn't know where to find trans people. I knew that I was attracted to them, but I had no idea like where, when, why, how, like where do I go? So I started off with Craigslist confidentials before the before the personal part of Craigslist was taken off of the internet. So that's where I started, and met with a few people off of there, and then that got taken down. So I was like, okay, what fuck, where do I go now? And Grindr came a thing, and I thought Grindr was just specifically gay app. Like just there was no trans people on there. And then I downloaded it one day and saw. I was like, oh, well, let's go! Thank God. Yeah. So I started Grindr usage in college, like towards the end of my career in college, junior year onwards, like 2021, and then since then, have just had so many great experiences, so many bad, ugly experiences. I won't say that they're all great, but it's been a deep dive into the depths of my mind, understanding attraction, understanding sex. Growing up, my mom had a very strong masculine energy due to some health complications that my dad had, and it kind of like a tyrant type energy inside of the home where this feminine energy had to overcome with the masculine energy, and it was very much the heads inside of the home. So I felt at times I didn't feel any feminine love from my mom. So I go out and seek that, whether on Tinder, whether on Grindr, whether across the board. I would say that I was a self-diagnosed sex addict, because the last thing I would do before going to bed and the first thing I would do when I woke up was either be on Tinder or a dating app, just searching for some sort of connection, searching for some sort of love. And I knew it was a problem, because I would say, oh, I just need one more. I just need one more. I just need one more. One more was never enough. It was always 5 more. It was always 10 more. It was always another year of the same cycle and the same process.
Right.
After, I think with my advancement in my physical body, my advancement with my meditation journey, my advancement with my journaling, I've become so much more confident in myself, and I no longer seek that outside validation. I kind of validate myself by going to the gym and eating healthy, and it's been really powerful to go ahead and give myself the power back instead of searching for it in outside means and areas. So if anybody watching has had troubles with what they feel is a sex addiction or an affection addiction, really start investing in yourself. Take the energy and point it inwards instead of spending that with so many people outwards, because if you're looking for them for validation, they're always going to have the power. You're never going to know. You can find that inside of yourself. So that's been a little bit of my journey, but other than that, it's been amazing seeing just the influx of DMs that I've gotten from the trans community, like on Instagram and Twitter. It was it was really, really, really cool for about 6 hours, and then I realized, oh, nobody lives anywhere near me. So I can't. I like if it's like there's a lot of people in Chicago, a lot of people in New York. I'm nowhere near Chicago or New York, so it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, yeah, behind a wall. I appreciate you from behind a wall.
No, that's the trans Twitter dating experience, TM. I think that's, there's a meme that's like two people talking or texting or something, and they're like, "Oh, I love you. I want to be with you. I want to be with you." And then like the next image is like a map of the U.S. and the two heads are like on opposite ends of each other. Like, yeah, absolutely. That's totally, we feel you 100%. So, but it's good that we have this community, this online community that we can all be a part of. Even if we're a little bit disconnected from each other in real life, I think having this online community is so very important for so many of us because we don't have that in life support network. We don't have those connections that we can make. For so many of us, we live in rural areas or lack transportation or, aren't in an area where there are a lot of people for us to make friends with, or even a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so being able to connect with people in any way is so very important for so many of us. And so, yeah, I 100% agree. I will do everything I can to make sure that I hold this community together. I, I am not going anywhere, and I am not letting anybody else go anywhere. So we're doing it.
Good. That's awesome to hear. I appreciate your dedication to the cause. It's really
Thank you.
appreciated.
I don't mean to keep you up. Do you have alternate plans today? Is there anything else on your schedule?
Got another work call that I got in about 30 minutes.
Mhm.
So I'd love to answer questions, a few more if you got any.
Sure. Let's go ahead. I do have a couple more questions for you. I want to prompt the chat to bring in a couple questions, if that's okay. So if you have any
Oh,
questions,
yeah.
go ahead and type them in chat. We'll get those over to Tristan here in a second. There was going back to your AMA here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the other thing that I think you kind of touched on a little bit, but somebody asked you, is there anything you'd say to kids struggling with their own sexual identity or gender identity? And your answer here on Reddit was very, very nice. The more confident you become in yourself and the more work that you do on yourself, the more you'll see that the world really has no idea what it's doing. And that's true. That's so true, by the way. Nobody, all the adults, like the most mind-blowing experience for me growing up was that realizing all of the adults are just kids that have no idea what they're doing and just aged up. Yeah, it fucking blows my mind. But you go on to say, focus on yourself and your opinion of yourself. When you make promises to other people and yourself, keep them. Work out every day, even if it's just a 15-minute walk. Read a book, 10 pages a day. Learn how to meditate and journal 3 pages a day. The confidence will come with your discipline. Yeah, I think that's so important. I think whatever it is that you're doing with, your hobbies or your interests, discipline is so very important. And if you can practice discipline, you'll find that happiness will come with it. I guarantee you that 100%.
The discipline has created a framework and a structure for me to be successful in my own mind and in society's terms as well. Um, when you, like it's easy, like thinking back on my childhood and these teachers that you were like gods to me at one point, like, oh, I can't upset this teacher. This motherfucker has never like done any self work. He doesn't read, journal, meditate, work out. This dude drinks whiskey 5 nights a week, watches his television, does no physical activity that's beneficial. Like looking back, like, oh my goodness, you got in a teacher's position. You went to college for a few years, got a teacher's position, and then never evolved past that point. And it's
Yeah.
just like you said as you grow up, like, okay, don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's going on. It's apparent. It's very clear that they're just throwing some stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks. So the more that you give yourself the power back, the more that you like push yourself in the gym, the more that you say, okay, I don't want to meditate today, but yeah, I really should. I really have to. That consistency factor is what really separates, that don't know what they're doing from the people that are very confident in themselves. And it's up to you to decide. It's really up to you to decide where you stand in the mix of people that themselves or don't. So it's a process. I think with my journey, to see where I came from to where I am now, because it's not something that I hope happens overnight. Yeah, like followers have popped up on my Twitter overnight, but this is something that I've been working towards and feeling inside of myself for a decade now. Something that I've been paying attention to for over a decade now. So it kind of all comes to the top.
That's right. Yeah. If there wasn't something good to put the spotlight on, you wouldn't be getting the attention, like that's just how it is. So, yeah, again, thank you so much. Kind of touching on that a little bit, there was I'm not sure if you've ever heard it, but there's a song by some, funny musical artist that a bunch of my friends listen to. And it goes like, why am I so anxious? And he talks about like all the reasons why. Oh, well, it's because, you don't eat, you drink like 6 cups of coffee a day, you smoke weed constantly. Like, nope, couldn't possibly be it, right? No, absolutely not. So yeah, no, that's really great.
Funny, I used to sell weed in college, so I used to, at the height of me smoking weed, I'd maybe smoke between 5 and 7 grams a day between me and my friends. It's like taken aback, but like when you're in it, you're like, no, this is normal. This is so normal.
Right.
Like this is so normal. And then you stop and you're like, oh, how much time did I waste? How much energy did I just dissipate by sitting on the couch talking about these grandiose ideas that I put no action towards whatsoever? Like, how many days of my life just think, yeah, when I become a millionaire, I'm gonna do this. The world's gonna be different. And then put no action just whatsoever, just sitting there,
yeah. Would I become a millionaire? Oh shit, we got to go to the dispensary. All right, let's go. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm right there with you. I've been smoking like almost every day for years now at this point, and it's just become part of my life. And if I ever feel like it's causing me to pay less attention to the things that I care about, I stop. I take a break. I'm not okay with that. I feel like if it's not adding to my life, then why do it? If it's subtracting, yeah, absolutely, you want to avoid that. So we can go ahead and get into some of the chat's questions. This Toxic X asks, what do you think about Australians?
Australians, like living in Mexico, I've met a lot of cool Australians, like my buddy Lee. He's such an awesome guy. And yeah, I think Australians are super dope. Super, super, super cool. They get the thumbs up for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Australians are the beta testers for Pokemon Go, so they're good in my book. Absolutely. Dahlia Doom asks, where did you get that cute shirt? I love it. Somebody else asked earlier if it was meant to be like trans colors.
It's my favorite shirt. I love these colors naturally. It just worked out. It was sitting on the table here when I got back from the gym, and I was like, "Yep, this is definitely a friendly shirt. I feel like the viewers are gonna love it."
Hell yeah, I love it. Well, thank you. Cutie Sub asks, "What's your workout routine?"
For me, I want to just really, really, really throw this out there. Doing something every single day is more important than having a set regimen. Like, I started off my workout journey by doing 200 push-ups a day and having the discipline of doing it every single day. So it might sound like a big number at first, but 100 push-ups, if you do 10 push-ups a minute for 10 minutes, you did push-ups in 10 minutes. And it's like, whoa, everybody has 10 minutes. Like, I don't know a single person that I've ever come across that does not have 10 minutes to go ahead and do it. Like, it could be 10 squats a minute. It could be 10 sit-ups a minute. It could be 10 push-ups a minute. So to go ahead and just really dedicate, like, build a foundation, and like, when you don't feel like going to the gym, go to the gym. When you don't feel like doing push-ups, do push-ups. Because the sooner you get out of the way, you're not going to want to do it later.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like that feeling like, oh, well, I'll do it later. No, if you do it right away, and especially if you do it in the morning, it kind of clears up the day. Like, I've been really disciplined on my mornings. But since the whole Twitter thing, I like the last day and a half, I've kind of just been glued at my screen trying to comprehend everything. So definitely got to turn off my devices later today and go ahead and get back to that.
And
But
touch some
to answer the
grass. Yeah.
question, yeah, touch some grass. Yeah, definitely. But to answer the specific question, I start off my workouts with 15 minutes of cardio. I love and supplements help too. Like I got some pre-workout here that really kick your ass to get in the gym. So take me some pre-workout, put on some good music, like create a playlist for yourself. Do 15 minutes of cardio. That's what I do, and then I do about 45 minutes. I'm not in the gym for a long period of time. 45 minutes to an hour of lifting medium weight weights and doing just high reps, like anywhere between 12 to 15 reps. Um, Getting a nice pump. I never, ever go 100%, quote unquote, in the gym because I've noticed that when I go 100%, the next day I'm super sore and I don't want to do 1%. So I usually find myself peaking out at about the 75, 80% mark. And, just if it's a good day. Like I want to say to everybody, if you read 10 pages, you will do a workout and you meditate, even if it's a bad day, you still had a good day. Like you still contributed to the investment of what you wanted to become in the future. So, it could be a really bad day, but if you take care of yourself, then it's that much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody else in chat said consistency is key. Yeah, that's 100%. If you're consistent with what you're doing, even if you do it like really small and you're not happy with each individual day's results, as long as you're consistent with it, you'll see improvements over time. So, yeah, being consistent is very, very important. I think this will be our last question. Somebody else asked, what games are you looking forward to, and what's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh, I'm looking forward to. I really want to get into streaming. I have a really great friend of mine that is a super big, super big video game streamer, Berleezy. Some people in the chat probably know him. But I went to college with a guy. Love the guy. He's a super awesome guy. But he's been an inspiration to me to get into streaming. But just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Maybe the Twitter community will provide me that little bit of base above zero. Like I'm just afraid of getting on the stream and getting at zero. So if we can get maybe like 5 people from Twitter into the stream. A game that I really have looked at and I want to play is the Elden Ring. Elden Ring. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that just looks like a super fun, super expansive, fun game. That's probably the top of what I'm looking forward to playing when I do get into streaming. And my favorite Pokemon. That's a good question. It depends what day of the week, honestly, or it depends if it's competitive. It depends if it's competitive or if it's just personal preference. Competitive and competitive. I between Melmetal and Heatran. I feel like they're such utilizable. Yeah.
I love Heatran.
Yeah, Heatran. You can put Heatran damn near any team, and he puts up. He does what he needs to do. And then for just personal aesthetic, I've always been a fan of Cresselia. Cresselia is a really elegant Pokemon, and love Cresselia. Yeah.
Like 2 of my favorites. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love Heatran. Okay, so I'm a big Venusaur player. I love having Venusaur on my team. So Heatran's a great complement to Venusaur. And then Cresselia, shiny Cresselia. The aesthetic is perfect. I love it. Well, yeah, I guess here's a good part to wrap up. Was there anything else you wanted to maybe shout out here before we end the stream?
Believe in yourself. Get better. If you guys ever want any stock trading information or stock trading tips, I work with a really great group of people out here in Mexico called @MyStockLife. Instagram, it's my stock life. On Twitter, it's my_stock_life. They provide a lot of really good financial education. And I wanted to bring up the people that have asked me to individually promote their GoFundMe campaigns, and it's really hard for me to determine, like, okay, is this one more worthy than this one? I think what I'm going to do, and I want to get your opinion on it, Aaron, is provide more like financial information and knowledge on how to, create a higher income for yourself, maybe start your own business, and put the power back in your hands. Because as somebody that's lost a parent, and she didn't have insurance when she passed away because she had previous health conditions, it's really hard for me to say, okay, here's this GoFundMe, go ahead and put money towards it, because you're relying on somebody else to go ahead and provide the funds for you. So I wanted to hear your opinion on it. I'd really rather, instead of promoting a specific campaign or GoFundMe, I'd really put the power back into the community's hands on how to, build their money and multiply their money.
Yeah, well, I think it should be supplemental. Certainly, I don't think you should, completely discount GoFundMe's or anything. They have been really, really helpful to so many friends of mine. We helped raise something like $6,000 or $8,000 for my friend Shay to get Shay moved out of her abusive parents' home, and now she's moved out. We raised a couple $1,000s for Tori's transition fund, and that's done. We're doing really amazing things with the power of GoFundMe and the power of, just other people that have money and want to be allies and stuff like that. But I think you're right. I think financial education is important. I think a lot of trans people miss that because a lot of trans people don't have these supportive families and don't have people to teach them these life things that they need to know to do their life. And so they end up struggling a lot and sometimes living paycheck to paycheck and taking out payday loans and stuff like that. These are all, they're predatory behaviors that are meant to prey on people who don't have this education. So I think it is very, very important. I also do want to shout out, there is a general HRT fund that any trans person can pull from. One of my friends, Ling, helps run it. Ling_zip, I think is their name on Twitter. I will give you a link to that. That's a really good thing to shout out if you're going to shout out a GoFundMe, because basically what it does is the structure they have allows other people to pull money for, if you need, like, if you're running short on money for HRT this month and you can't afford your HRT, you can pull money from this fund and get your month of HRT or your 3 months of HRT or whatever you need. And not have to worry about it. And so that's the purpose for that. And so I think if you want to promote a GoFundMe, that's the one that you'll probably want to do, is something like that, like a general fund.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's very powerful, and it removes the power of judgment from me, because I would feel bad about choosing one over the other. But a general fund is very powerful. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. I'll get you some links after everything's said and done here, and I'll send those over to you. Anything else you might have wanted to talk about?
What you're doing is very powerful, and you've given me more confidence to get into the stream space. So it really means a lot. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, like I said, if you have any questions or you need help with anything, feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. I do want to thank you again for coming on. It means so much to me, and so much to so many of us, for all of your support and everything that you do for the trans community. So thank you. People like you are so very important to have in the world.
For being so easy to support, really. The community makes it super, super, super easy to support.
We are pretty cool. Well, I do want to thank you all for coming out today. If you would go ahead and hit the follow button, I'll put, for people watching on YouTube, I'll put links to all of the things that we talked about in the description. Go ahead and check those out. Like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you to the people on Patreon who help support the channel. And as always, take care and have a good weekend. Stay unique, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.